Welcome to the CGB channel. It is it's 1:46 a.m. My gosh, I thought it was earlier than that. Oops. So I was just sitting here and reading this book. I got a book today, and it's called The Ancient Mexico and Central America. It's really interesting. So I came across an interesting subject that I wanted to talk about, and it's something that's piqued my curiosity. And I was thumbing through this book, and I found, uh, let's see, I found some interesting pottery from, let's see, I believe it was the Mayans. And let's see, their pottery is quite different, and their craftsmanship was quite different than what I've been researching. And like they made cups and painted the jaguar face on it, and I think it's really cool. Some of this stuff looks um, like totem pole stuff that I've seen other tribes creating or have created in their history. So, and then I came across these things that are called ear spools. I don't know if anybody's ever seen an ear spool, but it's what people do to their ears. And they start with little small things, and then basically start with the piercing, and then they stretch the hole in their ear. And I was like, I always wondered what does that stuff mean? Like, I always wondered, because the only ever person statue, basically I've only ever seen it on the Buddhist statue, so the Buddha, right? And I always wondered, what does that mean, anyways? Well, I found just happened to come across this page here, literally thumbing through this book, just random pages. And there was a pair of jade ear spools that were found in a burial. And I was just reading that jade was considered more valuable than gold with some of these early Mayans and Aztecs. So there was a set of ear spools that were found buried in a tomb. And what I was reading is that when the warriors would go out to war, and they would bring back their the spoils, so to speak, like how the pirates do. They pirate other ships, and then they would take the spoils and bring it home. Well, with the things that the warriors brought home, they actually melted them down and made them into ornaments for the body. One of them happened to be ear spools, and depending on how big they are, was significant in recognizing their rank. So the bigger, depending on if they had like rings on them or how big they were, it told the people staring at them or identifying them as what their rank was, or their status in society. So I thought that was really interesting. So basically, then I thought, I'm going to look it up. And I looked up ear spools because I've never heard them called that. And it says that for ancient societies, the size and quality of ear spools indicated the wearer's importance. Andean cultures, this gives several different cultures. The Andean cultures in ancient Peru, gold ear spools were worn by elite leaders and uh, aristocracy, whose impressively stretched earlobes led the Spanish to call them orejones. Orejones in English means big ears. The Mesoamerican cultures, Maya and Aztecs, the most elite members of society, were permitted to wear ear spools made from valuable materials like jade and gold. The Mississippian culture, North America, ear spools were worn by high-ranking individuals. In some cases, specific motifs like a raised star indicated wearers' high rank. A raised star. Ear spools often have spiritual meanings related to the precious materials they were made from and bodily location of the ornament. In Mayan culture, the Maya culture, believed that stretching the earlobes helped invite spirits into the body. They also saw the ornaments as small-scale portals or pathways into the body. In Aztec culture, the Aztecs believed that decorating the opening of the head, including the ears, signaled the preciousness and vitality of a person's soul. In the Andean culture, gold, a common material for ear spools, was symbolically associated with the sun god and was valued for its sacred power rather than as currency. So it says that the material an ear spool was made from held its own symbolic value and also indicated access to extensive trade networks. Jade, among the Maya, jade was considered more precious than gold and symbolized life. Gold, precious metals like gold, were often reserved for royalty or powerful rulers. The imported materials, the use of materials like turquoise, marine shell, and copper indicated trade connections with distant regions. For example, some Mississippians' ear spools were made with marine shell from the Gulf of Mexico and copper from the Appalachian Mountains. So if you're a person out in nature and you come across jade earring, gold earring, and just whatever material it's made from, knowing this about the ear spools is telling you about the metals that they use to decorate their bodies and what it signified in their rank, right? So it tells you that person that once wore that may have been a high-ranking person in society or an elite. So I think that's really cool. That tells you a whole bunch just from the materials and the jewelry that they use to decorate their body. Oh, who popped in here? Let's see. Hi, Miss Joyax. Welcome in. Hi, Pramod. Welcome in. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing good. I'm doing good, thank you. Pramod has more resin work. He wants us to go watch it. Okay. Hello, Rashid. Good to see you. Oh, God. Excuse me. I think I want to sneeze. Hi, Josie. How you doing? So, I've seen quite a bit of people in my lifetime wearing these ear spools, and I didn't know they were called ear spools. What did I call them? Plugs? They call them plugs, or I think they call them something else. Never heard them called ear spools, but in the book they're listed as ear spools. So I looked it up on the internet, and boom, I got a whole bunch of information, which is interesting because I always thought, oh, this is a Buddhist thing. Because I've never seen. Actually, I've seen statues and stuff like Aztec statues wearing these ear spools. So the bigger they are, the more wisdom this person has, or it signifies their rank if they're a warrior. And it could also mean that piece of jewelry may have been made from something they took from the person that they conquered or fought with, or maybe even protected their lives from. So that's crazy. How are you doing, Susanna? Rashid says, howdy, Joe and Susanna. Miss Joyax has been a member for 10 months. Congratulations. Thank you, Miss Joyax, for your support, all your support. I appreciate you very much. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing good. I hope your grandma's doing good. Mr. X says hello to everybody. So yeah, I was curious about, and I just kind of, it was just a thought that I had, and I didn't really follow the thought. I didn't follow up on it. I just kind of was just curious because the sometimes the people who wear these things in their ears, I've always asked them, and they kind of really never understood themselves what it means. So I think it was just kind of like something that was I always thought it was something trending, or they were there were I never got a meaningful like an answer that gave me an answer where I just walked away still curious. I never walked away satisfied with the answers because it was never really about anything. It was just about they liked the way it looked, and I was like, well, there's got to be some kind of meaning behind this. I mean, it has to come from somewhere. There's got to be some kind of history with this stuff. And I found this book today in the library. I went to the library today, and I found this book. Oh my God, I ordered so many books today from the library. But where is that? So this book right here, it says Ancient Mexico and Central America. And I was just kind of thumbing through this book, and here are these things that look like those earrings that I was curious about what they mean, right here in front of my face. And this particular set is actually made from jade. So let me see if I can get bigger. But right here, these are made of jade. These are ear spools. And according to this book here, it says that jade was actually they thought that jade was more valuable than gold, and so I thought that was interesting. Like jade was much more valuable to them, I guess spiritually. So I thought that was really interesting. There are a lot of cultures who really use a lot of jade. When I used to live with a Thai woman, she really adored her jade. Like she was just like all about the jade. And I never really understood it. I mean, I have a little piece of jade, but I never really felt like it was anything special. I don't really feel like that about a lot of stones or precious stones or things like that. Never really. Unless they were given to me, then they have a meaning. They have a more meaningful they're more meaningful to me than just to want to go buy it or mine for it or but yeah, so jade was actually considered more valuable than gold. So I thought that was interesting. So back to the jade. So it says among the Maya, jade was considered more precious than gold and symbolized life. So I don't get that. I mean, like what about jade symbolizes life? Like what is it? I mean, I guess I could look it up, but so in Aztec culture, it says children would have their ears pierced and stretched gradually, receiving more elaborate spools as a rite of passage. In Kikuyu culture in Kenya, ear spools were worn by different groups, including young girls, married women, and male warriors. So from a military or political position, in many societies, ear spools served as insignia affirming an individual's specific military or political role and achievements. In the Aztec Empire, ear spools were used to display military rank. After a victory, some of the spoils of war would be converted into emblems, including ear spools, to honor soldiers for their service and individual acts of heroism. In the Shimu Empire, elaborate ear spools worn by elite leaders often featured depictions of the ruler and their attendants. Such regalia served as a conspicuous symbol of the wearer's high position and power. So it says gendered and age-specific roles. In many cultures, ear spools and the act of earlobe stretching were linked to gender and signaled one's stage in life. In ancient Peru, the Inca Empire reserved the wearing of large ear spools for noblemen, a practice that led the Spanish conquistadors to call them orejones, big ears. In earlier Peruvian culture, like the mochi, it's spelled M-O-C-H-E. These ornaments were sometimes worn by both men and women of high status. So in the Kikuyu people in Kenya, large wooden spools were worn by different groups. See, these are the ones that I see, but some of them I see solid, not with the hole in the middle. So in Kenya, these large wooden spools were worn by different groups depending on their age and marital status, including young girls, married women, and male warriors. In the Silla Kingdom in Korea, in the 7th century kingdom, archaeologists determined gender from burial contents, discovering that thin-ringed earrings were worn by men, while thick-ringed ones were worn by women. Isn't that interesting? So this is a fascinating way to figure out what you're finding, especially like for an archaeologist. This would be so fascinating, and this would be a great way to show off, right? So you find this burial, and you're like, yeah, you got your little brush, and you're brushing along, and you find a spool, and it's a thin one, like they said, the thin one, and you're like, there was a male buried here, and they're like, well, how did you find that? How could you tell that? This is how you could tell, is by this kind of information, knowing this stuff. So people who are just walking along and stumble across like just stuff that's washed up, even if on the shore from a hurricane or whatever, a big old monsoon washes up a bunch of dirt, and you got a bunch of stuff coming up that's been dug up by the storm, and you're seeing, say there's jewelry strewn about. Knowing this little stuff like this, just knowing about those earrings tells you a whole lot about a society. Just by these earrings. Well, they're spools, but they're not really rings. But so yeah, the archaeologists were able to determine the gender from the burial contents, which is fascinating. So the thin-ringed ones in Korea were considered to be worn by the men, and the thick ones were considered to be worn by the women. Be sure to hit that like button, says Rashid. Thank you, Rashid. So yeah, I thought this was an interesting topic, because I always wondered, what the heck? Why do people do that to their ears? I think a lot of people do it and don't really, maybe they do know what it means, but it just depends on your culture of what it means. So when you don't have, if you don't know your history or your culture, which I think, I've always been struggling to find out where we came from, and what our culture is, and the only way I can find out is just by books and assuming that maybe this is the people that we came from or whatever. But I think it's interesting that that you could tell all that information just by some ear spools. So it says Maya culture, because stretching one's ears was a slow, gradual process, a person with fully stretched earlobes demonstrated patience and self-discipline. Well, that's no doubt. It takes a long time to stretch that little hole to a bigger hole, and it takes, I don't know how long it takes. It's got to take months. The Dayak people in Borneo, the heavy brass ear weights worn by Dayak women served as a sign of beauty. And the length of the stretched earlobe was also assumed to symbolize patience. So those ears that hang way down, like you see on the Buddha statues, his ears are way down. I don't know if they're stretched with the hole in the middle. I think his ears automatically big in a lot of statues. But yeah, symbolizes patience. Early Buddhist depictions, artistic portrayals of the Buddha who came from a wealthy background and renounced his possessions, often show him with long stretched earlobes but without ornaments. This serves as a symbolic reminder of his former life of luxury. So he gave up his life of luxury to be uh, you know, symbolic reminder of his former life of luxury. So he gave up all his luxury. As ear spools evolved, especially in modern times and in some historical contexts, they shifted from serving a rigid culture function to being a form of individual expression. This is what I'm talking about. People just do it as an expression. Modern subcultures and contemporary body modification culture, ear stretching is largely seen as a form of self-expression and personal style, though it retains a sense of its deeper historical and cultural roots. Asian hill tribes, for some groups such as the Lahu, ear stretching was seen as a way to express bravery, resilience, and a deep connection to the natural world. So that's interesting. There's really no reason for it at all. It's just whatever they feel, whatever they believe in, whatever they want it to mean. So in Western cultures, the most common modern use of ear spools is for personal expression instead of denoting a specific social or spiritual status. Stretch earlobes and jewelry they display are primarily an aesthetic choice, a form of body art. Stretched ears are a canvas for self-expression. Similar to tattoos or other piercings, people use a wide variety of materials, designing colors to create unique looks. Unique jewelry, modern plugs. See, this is what I know them as, plugs. The tunnels come in an immense range of designs and materials, including metals. Surgical steel, titanium, brass, gold are popular options. Organic materials, wood, bone, and horn are used for their natural look and lightweight feel. Synthetics, acrylic and silicone offer a broad spectrum of colors and are available at various price points. Glass and stone can be used. These materials are prized for their unique textures and color patterns. Okay, so in the late 20th century, ear stretching was adopted by certain countercultures where it carried connotations of rebellion and nonconformity. So counterculture and individuality, beginning in movements like punk rock in the 1970s and the 80s, ear stretching became a statement of defiance against mainstream norms. So they did it because they could, and especially if they were told not to, in defiance. So mainstream appeal, what was once considered a niche or rebellious practice, has become widely accepted and celebrated in many fashion-forward circles. Today, ear stretching is seen as a legitimate form of body modification and is no longer confined to underground scenes. It says, respect for history. Some individuals choose to stretch their ears as a tribute to the ancient indigenous cultures that pioneered the practice. This can be a way of reclaiming or celebrating a cultural identity. Symbolism in contemporary jewelry. Jewelry designers sometimes create modern pieces that are directly inspired by ancient ear spools, incorporating traditional patterns and forms into contemporary designs. I found a company that made jewelry, and they actually make those they're like earrings that look like a bone going through a, like if you had your ears gauged, And it would look like your ear was gauged with the bone, but it actually had the post, and the bone would open, and you would stick it through, and then close it on the other side, which would be the other half of the bone, which would have the hole, and it would look like you would have your ears gauged with the bone. I thought that was cool. It looked like the bone was going right through your ear, but it actually had a little small post, and it looked cool. They made wooden ones like that too. They just kind of look like a crescent moon. So yeah, that was specialized tools. Safety and wellness. Process of ear stretching has also evolved to emphasize safety and health. Modern practices focus on minimizing the risk associated with stretching the earlobes. Specialized tools. Modern tools like tapers and kits allow for a gradual increase in gauge size, which is safer and more controlled than traditional methods. Biocompatible materials. The use of materials like surgical steel, glass, and titanium, which are non-porous and hypoallergenic, reduces the risk of infection and irritation during the healing process. So yeah, I was just curious, and seeing this photo in here of the ear spool that was found in a tomb kind of piqued my interest to actually look further into what the heck it finally means. So it's just in modern days, it's just an expression of oneself. But back in when the warriors did it for a reason. It was like, from their spoils, it was their wisdom, it was their rank even, and depending on what material was in the ear, told the people looking at them that they were an elite or a warrior, or a male, a female. I mean, I know but because they found that in a burial, they were able to tell the gender of the jewelry, who wore that jewelry. That's just cool. I think that's interesting. So when I was in the library today, I found library has changed since the last time I've been there. Everything is digital now, and they actually have like a portal that you can search for the subject book that you're looking for. And I typed in like petroglyphs, stuff related to petroglyphs, and I got a ton of pages. So I put like probably 8 or 9 books on hold, all pertaining to petroglyphs, rock art. You're not supposed to call it rock art, but petroglyphs and their meanings, right? So those will be coming soon. There's a book coming all the way out from New Mexico to this library here so that I can read it. I think that is so freaking cool, and I'm excited. So I found this book here that I checked out, and it's pretty big. It's Ancient Mexico and Central America, and this thing is thick. I mean, it's a big book, and it is freaking cool. There's a picture of a statue, like a face, and I believe that is made of jade. The whole face is made of jade. It's really cool. I think it's jade. Looks like it could be jade. But so far, it's got a bunch of photographs in it, and a little story next to it telling you what it is, where it's from, what it means. It's just really cool. And any little hint that I can get, of digging into the Aztec history is what my goal is, looking through all this stuff. Some of the Aztec art is very confusing. And what I'm trying to do is figure out what the heck that Tidor means, because I don't think anybody's been able to figure it out yet. I think it's a shape of corn, honestly, but I think eventually I'm going to stumble upon what that shape, and it's going to probably say what it means. You just got to keep digging. But this is a cool jar It was found by uh, produced by the Olmecs, and it's an open-mouthed jaguar carved on this jar, which looks like a cup, but it's clay and it's just gorgeous. I mean, I've seen a lot of these pottery from the different periods here in Arizona, and this is quite different. This looks more this looks like stone art, like just it looks really cool. One cappuccino, one frappuccino, one macchiato. Let's see. One espresso. One latte, one and it's got so much information in here. There's so much to read. It's got the temples in here. It's got statues. Did anybody hear about the assassination yesterday? What was it, like Kirkpatrick? What was the guy's name? I looked it up in my phone. Anybody hear about that? Okay. So, anyways, tomorrow, later on today, shit, I didn't think it was this late, honestly. I thought it was like barely midnight. But we're gonna have a potluck, and I gotta make some salsa. And I'm gonna make three different kinds of salsas. I'm gonna make a red salsa, green salsa, and a maroon salsa. It looks maroon once it's done, but pretty much it's going to be made from dried chili pods. So I went and bought chips today, and I bought all the stuff to make the salsa. And it's tomorrow, and I should be out at the barbecue right now, toasting all this stuff. So I don't know when I'm going to do it. I need to get it done, but so hopefully everybody is having a good week so far. It's been. I still haven't got my bike fixed. I'm waiting for a part to come, and I think it's coming tomorrow. So as soon as that's fixed, I'll be able to go explore some more. These guys had the craziest, weirdest art. Everything was done like just really weird. Like why they wear such big things heads, and their art was just very weird, just really weird compared to a lot of different other art. Cholula at Teotihuacan, the drinking cup indicates a well-established popularity of purquio, a beer made from sap of agave and maguey plants. Boy, they like their beer. That's pretty much like tequila, right? I bet they had a beer. Oh, it's called Cholula, the drink. Hmm. I know when I was in the library, I think it was Frankie that came in and he goes, go look up this book. And I totally forgot because I was in the library today. I was like, what's the name of that darn book? Oh, and I found two more Choose Your Own Adventure books, and I did find the Dracula one. So this one's called Vampire Invaders, which it doesn't make any sense, but this is the book right here. Vampire Invaders. See the vampire right there? And I found some another one called The Magic of the Unicorn. Look at this one. Oh, they look so fun, and they're both hardbacks. So I got those two. So that's gonna be fun. That'll be fun too. That'll be fun to read. I don't know if anybody liked the books the last time I read that one, but we went through it pretty quick. I mean, they're so easy to read. The Dracula one has 118. Wait, does it say 118? Well, it's number 118. It doesn't say how many adventures. Probably not till I gotta open it and read it. But the Magic of the Unicorn, that one has 27 different endings. And that one kind of looks cool. It's got some neat pictures. It's got actually they actually look like drawings. Whoever did the drawings for these books, they did it looks like the illustrations were done in charcoal. And just simple but beautiful. And the words are so huge. God, you could read this from across the room. But I like that. It makes it easier to read. So yeah, those are the two new books that I got. Let's see what else. I was just thumbing through this. So there's maps in here. There's art. It talks about the calendars. So I remember reading somewhere that one of the civilizations had a gold sun disk. I don't know if it was the Mayans or the Aztecs. But if jade was considered more valuable than gold, wouldn't the sun disk be made of jade? But apparently they never found it. This thing, I'm taking a guess from very poor memory. I was thinking it was like 6 foot tall, 7 foot tall. The disc. I don't know how big it is. That's what I was thinking from a very poor memory of me reading it somewhere. They had some crazy ways of like their calendars, and their art was just I can't imagine. I mean, they built their cities with canals and gravity fed water systems. I mean, they had everything figured out. They had everything figured out really good. It's just too bad that they were corrupted by such nefarious leaders that claimed to be something they probably weren't. Who knows what the heck they were? I don't think they were human, though. Anything demanding sacrificial anything is not human. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff in here. I really like these designs. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share. I was really craving a cup of coffee. I think I'm going to make me a cup of coffee. Maybe drink a cup of coffee and then call it a night. I don't know if I should start. I really need to start those tomatoes. But I gotta fire roast them. I don't have to, but it tastes better if I do. I need a fire. There'll be a video coming out. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow. My nature walk. This is going to be different from all my other nature walks. I actually narrate a story during the walk and play music. So I made actually 7 different tracks of music because it's how long is it? 16 minutes. I think it's like 16 minutes. And I'm actually narrating a story. I thought that was just something something different I want to try, and while watching the video, and it's an actual landscape. It's not portrait mode; it's landscape. So that's going to come out tomorrow. I think at about 5 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock. I think 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for that. That's going to be coming out tomorrow. I stayed up till 9 this morning, yesterday morning, editing and making music for that. And I got flagged for two of the songs that were like, some of the songs are like maybe a minute 20 seconds. Some of them are like 54 seconds. So between the pauses of the narration in the video, I had to make music for that silence, and two of those background musics that I put in there got flagged, and I know it has nothing to do with whoever. I think it's AI just flagged it, but so now I can't monetize it. Well, I did choose to monetize it, but everything's in escrow now. So, I mean, I don't get enough views on my videos anyway, so they're not going to be making a whole lot of money. It's going to be like a couple cents. But I still disputed it because it's baloney. The stuff that I use is fair use, so I'm not worried about it. I always dispute that when they flag my music. So it's finally cooling down a little bit more. It's not quite cool enough to put a jacket on yet, but hopefully soon. I don't think there's anything going on in the news here. Let's see if I can find something. Un doppio. Oh, I have everything to make an affogato. Affogato. I think that's what it's called. So anything new going on with anybody in the chat? Nobody's said anything. I probably bored you to death. See if I can find anything interesting in the news. I was watching the First Amendment people again at like different areas. They actually make travel videos, but people freak out over their cameras. They were at a medical building right in front of the park, the entrance on public property, so the sidewalk, whatever, wherever they deem public, and one of the doctors comes out wearing a stethoscope, and he says, he comes out and he nonchalantly says, "What brought you here?" And the other guy, there was two cameramen out there, and he goes, "My legs!" I started laughing. Hey, Frankie, good to see you, Frankie. How you doing? Remember when I was in the library, Frankie, and you said to go find a book? What was the name of that book? Because I didn't get a chance to write it down, and I would really like to go look for it. On espresso. I'm gonna make me a coffee. I was actually craving a coffee earlier. Charlie Kirk, that's who it is. I was talking about that. I just heard about it literally last evening, and it was so weird because I think before I came out here, before I came out to the village, so September 1st is when I came out. So sometime late August, I was just watching a debate that he was having with him and a college student, and I was kind of like mixed about it, what was going on, and I really don't know too much about like the political wise, about, you know, going over to other countries and what they're doing. They kind of were debating in depth of what was going on. All I know is I know what resonated with me is when the kid said, "No war ever brings peace." So that's what I understood, and that stuck to me. But they just kept debating back and forth. So that was exactly the guy. Um, no, it wasn't the Book of Enoch. It was something else. But that was the guy. I don't know why his video showed up in my feed on YouTube, and I just decided to click on it and watch it for, I don't know, about 10 minutes. And it was them ranting and raving back and forth about what's going on politically and with the war and all this stuff. And you know, the kid was saying, you know, just pulling out facts, and I mean, they were both pulling out facts, but I just didn't really know. I didn't take a side. I was just listening to the argument, and I ended up just cutting it off because it was basically a yelling match, and one of them saying, "Can I finish? Can I finish?" Or "I'll let you talk," and "It's my turn," you know. And I was just like, ah. I would have remembered the Book of Enoch, Frankie. You said something else. It was something. It was one word. It wasn't the Book of Enoch. It was just one word, unless it was somebody else that said it. But yeah, the Book of Enoch. I think I've read some of that. I think I had uh, the audio version of it. I found there's actually, you could look it up on YouTube, and there's the audio of it. Because that book's expensive, and you could listen to the whole book. And I actually had, did I have the book? Do I have the freaking book? I may have it. So I had the book open while I was listening to the audio, and the words were matching mostly from the audio to the book, but some of the words were written different. They were typed differently. That book is confusing as heck, though, honestly. So it didn't make no sense to me. It was just a bunch of. It was just, I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. It didn't seem like they were talking about this realm at all. It's like they're in another realm talking about what's going on over there. So that's what I gathered from it. So I didn't really absorb too much from that book. Charlie wasn't political. He was a conservative. He was a great man and traveled to all colleges. Yeah, that's what I hear. I don't know anything about the guy. I just know that he was in a debate with a college student. And I think the video was like Charlie got owned or something like that. I mean, I didn't even know who the guy is, but I know that he spoke highly of the current president. So I did learn about a lot of what's going on as far as military wise, and you know what's going on, but kind of learning about the news without really watching the news. Hi Izzy, how you doing? Thank you. I hope you sleep well, Izzy. Thanks for popping in. That little cat on your profile picture looks very identical to the cat that I fed tuna earlier. A baby kitten walked up. A friend of mine invited me over to try out some of his smoked ribs. And while we were done eating, we were sitting there just chit-chatting, and a baby kitten comes up to us, looks just like that. And it was trying to get into the ribs, and so I took it home and gave it a whole can of tuna, and then put some more tuna because it had siblings. So I took a plate of tuna to them because apparently their owners aren't feeding them. They were starving. They were eating bugs. They were eating whatever they could. They were she was trying to jump on the table and grab a big old rib bone. Poor little thing. I brought her home and fed her, and then took her back home. She looked just like your profile picture. You're welcome. Oh, you made that? Aw. Yeah, it looked just like that. It's a little kind of multicolored, different shades of gray with the black stripes. And she was a polydactyl. she is a polydactyl. I was like, this is a special cat. So I was like, what? So that was the why she stood up to me. So poor little thing, she was hungry. Okay, what's going on? I'm gonna have to tiptoe as I write this. This app is starting to resemble the New Times back page. Can someone please explain why women who need financial assistance, food, or a place to stay include photos of themselves in lingerie, pouty enlarged lips, or provocative poses the rest of us get? Wow, someone's calling it out. Nicely put. There's 24 responses on that. Report them, someone says. I make stuff like that on my channel for a lot of people. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. You do all the Scully's work. Yeah. Yeah, Izzy does Scully's his work on his channel. You do all the animations too, all his transitions, right? Put all that together. So let's see. As an aside, as someone who loves animals, sometimes the disrespect and rudeness I see on the animal rehoming posts is counterproductive. I wish everyone could and would protect their animals for its entire life. That doesn't mean it's okay to be mean and nasty to those who are already experiencing the grief of having to give up their pet. Yeah, this is like people get attacked on here for saying, you know, like if they're moving into an apartment with that don't allow pets, people just like tear them apart. Then move somewhere that does accept pets, right? And people are like, they're just telling them how to live their life, how to make their decisions. People get pissed, you know, and I can understand. Pets are very a lot of responsibility, and if you just grab a pet because it looks cute, and then don't realize the responsibility that comes with them, the food, the the nurturing, the everything, and if they last that long. All the way down to their specific diet and keeping them on a great diet and keeping them alive and just there's a lot of responsibility, just like a child. So yeah, this lady is talking about women posting themselves in lingerie, begging for financial assistance, food, or a place to stay, while sharing pictures of themselves in lingerie. In provocative poses. So, and then someone started talking about the pets. Isn't there another site for all that trash? I have to assume that any women asking for help on the neighborhood app, in the way that you've described, I've seen it. I know what you mean. Has absolutely no self-respect and very little intention of ever standing on their own 2 feet. They look ready to sleep with the devil in exchange for a new iPhone. Then one other lady says, "You know why?" Has anyone considered that the uptick is because A, it works, and B, there are more people struggling? While it is annoying to have one's nose rubbed into poverty and its consequences, just advocating more work is like telling someone pull themselves up by the bootstraps when the individual has no shoes. The poor will always be with us, especially if we ignore them and blame them for their own situations and ignore societal problems that send them into poverty and make it like a black hole that one can't exit from. The reason why there are nearby posts from impoverished people is because there are impoverished people in our neighborhoods. Someone responded, "You're completely missing the point. Poverty has always existed and always will, but our society has changed. 20 years ago, this kind of thing was not prevalent. Now it is. The difference is not the unemployment rate roughly the same. It does fluctuate up and down over time. It is that there is an entire segment of our population that would rather try to scam money out of other people rather than come by their income the old-fashioned way, by earning it. I've spoken on the phone to multiple people who posted their SOB stories on the neighborhood app and naively gave them the benefit of the doubt to begin with. Practically every word out of their mouth was a lie. And their only goal is to extract money out of you, especially those who post, "I'm not asking for money, I just need some help. I've offered to buy people groceries, fill their tank with gas, etc." Which is exactly what they said they needed in their post here. Yet their story always changes, and the only thing they will accept is cash. Many actually have the nerve to insult you when you don't fall for their baloney and tell you you're not helping them in the way they need, even after you've offered to buy them the exact items they originally asked for. It becomes obvious that they want cash because what they intend to spend it on is not groceries or gasoline or school supplies for their kids. The unmitigated gall of these people is truly mind-boggling. So anytime I see people doing that, begging on here, I just put them on mute and I'll never see them again. So the mute button is a wonderful, magical button, and it does do wonders. Are you referring to that girl in white lingerie and her post said she was looking for clothes? I saw that yesterday, maybe. I was like, there's no other picture to be posted. Sure, someone get this girl some clothes to put on. LOL. I got my comment hidden because I said that people with mental illness probably shouldn't own guns for their own safety or other safety. Mental illness does not mean that the person is dumb, guys. People with a mental disability does not mean that they are dumb. So they're actually quite intelligent people. Another comment says, I agree. I agree with you about the guns, but it's difficult to control, and as soon as such a law is passed, someone will try to get another declared insane in order to remove the gun. Sometimes there are no easy solutions. What are these people talking about giving up our guns? I don't think so. That's for law-abiding citizens. Come on, guys. Hello. The criminals do not follow the laws. So basically, getting rid of our right to bear arms is disarming us from freaking the criminals. So how does that make any sense? Does anybody not think about this? I don't get it. Anyways, moving on. I'm surprised people have that many pictures of themselves. You have to give her credit for her creative, suggestive photos, though. It's their 10-minute investment in taking photos and videos for their portfolio for their work. It surprises me that adults are complaining about social media. I would think that a little observation would show that if what happens on social media offends you, you stop using social media. Get a grip, people. Next comment. People are who they are. Why are their looks important? Next comment. It's about the looks per se, but inappropriate pictures. Her profile picture is her grabbing her own breast. It's just not appropriate for a neighborhood app. Geez, another bait post. Nicely put. So yeah, that's these people just don't get how powerful the mute button is. It magically disappears these kind of people. I think people just love to complain sometimes. Like, I go on rants too myself, but I learn from each one of them. Like, you know, sometimes when you kind of lose your cool and you just like go off, and then I do. I don't know about other people. I kind of go back and replay it and think, did I handle that in a manner that I'm comfortable with? I just like I don't know. I really thought I was, but you learn. Oh, see, they're talking about Charlie Kirk in here. And it says he gave his lifeblood to awaken better angels and people, give hope to young folks while spreading the word of God and message of salvation. He loved that message. Okay. Okay, so here's someone ranting. If you people cannot read, please don't think you can type. Just a little tired of negative comments when the commenters either cannot read correctly or cannot comprehend. So please keep your darkness to yourselves, or at least learn to read before you type. There's one comment. I hope you're okay and try not to take others' opinions. It's just their way of thinking. Seem like others express their feelings. Smile, it'll be okay. Aw. So such a supportive neighbor. You know, and that's all it takes sometimes. So you could like be losing your cool, like big time. And some people get offended and they even get more angry when you say, just calm down. But if they say it in that tone, it's so friendly and it's so calming. It works with me. I think I've ranted on here, and I didn't even hear the person's tone that told me to calm down. But honestly, I could feel how I imagined it being. It was expressed in a calm manner, and it worked. So I was just like, "Oh, you're right. I should calm down." But you know how some people say, don't ever tell a woman to calm down. Well, that's those women, it's not everybody, guys. So don't classify yourself under that kind of type of person. I was driving last Monday at about 6:50 p.m. I had to pull over and take this picture of a beautiful rainbow. You guys want to see a rainbow? I'll show it to you anyways. Let's get a zoom in on it. Let's see. Let's look at this rainbow. Something nice. I mean, come on. You can't always be in the clouds and la la land, and rainbows and unicorns. You gotta kind of know what's going on around you. So I kind of try to mix it up with the little good and bad. I do filter out the really bad stuff, honestly, only because that's just how I am. So there's no other explanation for it. But someone captured a beautiful rainbow, and actually that's a double rainbow. You can slightly see the outer edge of the other rainbow on the outside of it. Just on the outer edge right there is another slightly faded second rainbow. So it's kind of cool. Make that small again. The skies are beautiful out here, especially when it's when the sky is overcast and the sun starts to set. The whole sky turns just like a glowing orange, like an orange with pink, and just depends on the clouds, the temperature. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you'll get purples in there, and you get just yellows and peach colors and orange and sometimes purples and deep dark blue. It's crazy. The skies out here are amazing. Can't complain about that. So yeah, the news goes all the way. What is that? Is that a pig? Someone's got a little pot-belly pig. That thing is gonna get huge, guys. I knew a woman. I called her. I still do call her mom. She brought something that she thought was like a little teacup potbelly. That thing ended up growing up way bigger than she expected, and she ended up donating it to an alpaca ranch, an alpaca farm. And it's like the resident pig just freely walks around and greets people. And she taught it how to spin. She taught it tricks. She taught it how to spin around and kind of like dance and just cool stuff. But it got too big for her. So yeah, that's about all that's interesting. Oh, here's a City Council Peacock update. What does she have to say? One cappuccino, one frappuccino, one macchiato, one espresso. One latte, one americano. Crap. That was pretty fast. Signatures. One cortado, one affogato, one doppio. So I talked about this before, and apparently somewhere around Phoenix, a whole community that has peacocks, wild peacocks. The community loves them, and they got a petition together. I actually signed it and shared it, and signed the petition. And so what the she just said what she just said. I don't think you guys heard the audio clip of that, but she said that they're choosing to ignore the petition, ignore the community in their requests, and they came up with some kind of BS excuse, and so she's saying now for the community to get together and start calling and emailing them and expressing. It's the community that enjoys the peacocks there, and they're trying to relocate them, or who knows what they're going to do with them. And I know where I used to live, we had a bear that came, traveled quite far. It had already been tagged, and it ended up in our little small area of residence of about 100 houses or so. And this bear showed up once. They were able to take it away and relocate it the first time, and it came back. I think the second time it came back, it was caught in a dumpster. It was caught on the front porch of the residents' homes. It never harmed anybody. It was just sniffing for food, is what it was doing. And I believe it was either after the second time that it came back, or the third, they went ahead and took its life. And I thought that was bull. I was so pissed off when I heard that. I was so pissed because they said it would have cost too much to relocate it. So I don't get that part. Like, you trank the animal, right? You put it in the back of a truck, and you drive it out safely to a new area or whatever. And they said it was too expensive. So that's how they handle things like that. And this is what I'm afraid for the poor little peacocks, is their decisions, their poor decisions. So I don't know. They really want to save these peacocks. Someone says, this is the first time hearing about it. What about the peacocks? So she's giving out. If it doesn't meet a 100K threshold, they do not have to put it up for a vote and don't have to put it on the agenda for a public debate. What does the 100K threshold mean? I don't get that. She's giving out the mayor's number. I mean, how cool is that to be in the city and then see some peacocks? I mean, it's like a thriving jungle, but with a lot of concrete. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, a jaguar. There has been a jaguar sighting, or is it panther, like a black panther? But it had the jaguar underneath the coat. You could see it faintly. The markings of a jaguar. But a beautiful animal, beautiful cat that was spotted up in the hills. So they want to send 40 of them to a lab in Texas. A&M. When you disrupt an established flock, they experience extreme distress resulting in failure to thrive, self-mutilation, extreme aggressive behavior. They're in fight mode now since they're disrupted. Overbreeding to make up for the loss of the flock. Weak to predation. Not as many will be able to identify predators and warn the rest of the flock. So it's a very high chance of just eradicating these birds who have called this park for no longer than any of us have been here, 95 years. Yeah, that's kind of disturbing. And, you know, people, they hang out around this park and people go to this park to see these birds. And some people, it brings joy to them. Just like our animals do to us. You just take one look at them and it melts your heart. These birds could be doing the same thing for a lot of these people going through stuff. So I don't know why they don't see that. Why don't they see that kind of stuff? They just their humanity is out the window. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. They want the people to come up with 100 grand? Is that what I read? So the matter, because it's a matter up for vote, the people have to come up with 100,000 for it to qualify to even vote. That's such a pull. That is, I don't know. Is that normal? I don't know if it is. Okay, we've gone for an hour now. I still haven't got my coffee yet. Someone's giving away a macaw. Oh, I was watching this kind of a murder crime scene thing where a woman had taken the life of her husband by way of pistol or gun. Oh, excuse me. And they had a I think it was like is it like a macaw? It was one of those talking birds, right? Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, the internet is really iffy here lately. But yeah, I don't know if you guys caught that, but the bird basically was the witness and was repeating what the husband was saying. It's not funny, but it was a justice for the husband, right? Because they didn't know really what happened. I think what happened was it was a crime of passion. So after taking the husband's life, she tried to take her own. Like being kicked off. Uh, so that's about all in the neighborhood app that I see. Nothing really. So we just recently had something happen at one of the schools in Phoenix, and the school's chief is requesting 180 million to bolster the school safety program. What can 180 million possibly do? Turn it into Fort Knox? Now this kind of scares me because I think some of this money is going to be abused or embezzled. Just by my opinion. Yeah. So I got a lot of I got a lot to go through here. I'm looking for I don't know what I'm looking for, but I know I'm just kind of looking this. I'm looking at art. I'm looking at how the Aztecs lived, and just like looking for clues. But I do like the maps in here, though. They got some cool stuff in the maps. So yeah, that's this big book here. As you can see how thick it is. It's pretty thick. So I was happy to pick that up. I found another book called Cliff Dwellers, and that one's interesting also. This is a nice hardback. All the photos in this are courtesy of the National Park Systems, which is pretty much like Chaco Canyon, Montezuma Well, Montezuma Castle. I saw this video on YouTube recently that someone said did Montezuma build this castle? I was like, oh my god, everybody knows the freaking history. They know Montezuma didn't freaking build that. So I don't know, it's just weird how people twist history around. But I mean, it says right there on the plaque, right in front of it, who erected the building, and but anyways, I think I'm getting tired. I don't know if I should start the salsa. I hope everybody has. I can't even speak right. Has a good Thursday, and it's just a reminder to you all. It's 9/11, and just send your thoughts and wishes to all the families that lost loved ones in the 9/11 incident, and say a prayer for all of them, for comfort and for peace, to the ones that the families lost their loved ones, to the loved ones lost. So yeah, I think that's about all I'm gonna cover today. The potlucks later. I gotta work on some salsa. I'm exhausted. So keep an eye out for the video coming out on Friday, Mountain Standard Time, around I believe 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you don't know what time it is here now, it's 3 a.m. and that's Mountain Standard Time right now. So if you want to do the math on your side, it's 3 a.m. here, so Mountain Standard Time, Arizona time. So it should be coming out Friday at 5 p.m. So I think that's about it. I will see you all later, and I don't know if I'm gonna make salsa right now. Kind of tired. I know. Anyways, wishing you all a wonderful weekend. If I don't see you again, keep an eye out for that video. It's nature video. It's called Adventure in Nature. That comes out tomorrow, and hopefully everybody has a wonderful weekend. We will see you all later. Bye.